All right, so we're gonna go over our knee cut, getting into our knee cut position, and then what happens when we get caught when we're almost past that guard, but they catch the ankle. We have a lot of options from there, so I just want to kind of explore some options that I like to use from that position that will get us sometimes in a better position than what we were originally going for. Here, so first we need to knock them to their back before we step in for our knee cut. So I like to bring my knees together here just to avoid any insertion to the center, letting him get inside control. I'm either going to post on the forehead or I'm going to start posting on the shoulders. I'm just going to kind of start walking him back here. Once we get to here, I'm going to look to step across the leg here and then get into like a split squat position. This is what Gordon calls it, a split squat position here. You can call it, heard it called headquarters, whatever it is. I don't care what you call it, just as long as you know what it looks like right here. Slide this way. Once we get into this position, I want to make sure that I have inside position with my top hand. Keep your knee up.
Yep.
And my elbow is kind of pushing into his knee. I'm really trying to avoid him getting his knee inside of that elbow right here. So I want to make sure I'm keeping tension into it here. Now, when I slide in for my underhook, it's important that I drop my elbow all the way to the mat and that I'm not letting there be space. So I don't want to slide into my underhook like this because that's space for his knee to get inside, for him to repummel his underhook, right, and go through. And if he has the underhook or the knee shield, this is not going to work. So what I want to do is as I shoot my underhook, my hip should follow my elbow right into here, right? I'm just making sure there's no space here. Now in this position, we would normally just cut through and get out of the guard, right? But let's say in this position, he hooks my leg, and now it's really tough for me to get up, okay? So let's swing back this way here. So now, how he has my leg is he has my heel caught with his top leg, my toes caught with his bottom leg. So one thing I could do to make this really easy is just with that foot, I'm gonna point the toes here as much as possible to make it so now it kind of slips out a little bit easier. Secondly, I'm going to use this foot to free the heel. Then from there, I'll kick this one down to free the toes. So while I'm doing that, I want to make sure I get head position too. So I'm going to go from having my head over here to the same side, pushing that head away. And now use that back foot, clear the heel, straight to the bottom foot, clear the toes. I slide out, I get my hip down to the mat. And now before I recover to side control, I want to go hip to hip with it, Brandon, and then I'm going to take my bottom leg and stretch it behind me, get it into his hips, and settle into side control. Okay, so we'll do that again. I'm a little quicker, so here, scoot up. So I work in, I get him to his back, step across that guard. I'm here, I've got my elbow inside. I look for my underhook. I follow that underhook, get my head position, stretch him out, clear, hook it.
Yep.
Clear and clear, hip to the mat, hip to hip, leg behind, and finish. Okay, so next one we're going to look at is when we can't get the foot out, using that trail foot to kick our leg out. We're going to transfer over to a 3/4 mount and get ourselves mount this way. So again, we're going to step across, same position, get into this. I find my underhook. I drop in the same way. I still want to try to get this out. It's not working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post on my head. I'm going to tripod up. I want to get my butt and my knee as high as possible. And I want to turn my knee across his body and drive his hips the opposite way here. Once I get to here, if I can, I want to get double unders. If I can't, it's okay. I'll still work for the pass from here. But I'm going to get my outside foot as a wedge inside. I'm going to pull and get to my mount right here. Okay. So again, down on his back. I slide in. I get to here. This is not working. I can't pull out here. So transfer up across this way. I look for my wedge. I pull it out. I can also, when I transfer across this way, start looking to trap across for this arm, looking for straight arm locks and Americanas and stuff over here. Okay. One time all the way through, to the back, step in, not working, and we're mounted here. So next we're gonna look at, as we get through here, we pass through, he traps that leg, and for whatever reason, I give him enough space to pummel his underhook through. This is really the only time I'd wanna do this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop trying to go for my underhook. I'm gonna post my hands on the mat, and I'm gonna back step this leg over. So we wanna make sure that we don't just back step open this way, because if he opens his legs at the same time, I'm just gonna end up giving up my back. So what I wanna do is I wanna just pummel my foot around my knee and sandwich his leg here. Once I get it here, I settle my hips back, I reach for that bottom leg, and as I sit and pull, I'm gonna shoot this leg under his near leg to shelf it here. Now, once we get here, you guys can kind of do whatever you guys want. Start looking for our saddle and looking to separate the legs and look for finishes from here. We can also do, if we really focus on the pass, once I get into that back step, so I get here, he gets the underhook on me. I go for my back step. A lot of times, once I start playing with this, he's going to be less mindful of the underhook. So if I feel like I really don't want the leg lock here, I can just pummel my underhook from here. And it gives me a lot of space because I can kind of turn my back completely towards him, pummel the underhook, and then get right back into my first looks at my passes here. That works as well. And then one of my favorites is I'm going to go for that knee cut. I'm going to drive my hips over for my 3/4 mount, try to get my wedge. And then as I drive back, I'm going to back step there. It gives me a lot of momentum. Bring them over. Pummel, I get through here. And I like to have the underhook in this one. So I'm still trying. I try to get my wedge past here. This isn't working. I'm trying to get it out. And he's got a really tight bite on my leg. So I'm going to come back the other way. And as I'm driving his hips back this way is when I back step. So I go here and I hop over at the same time, get my knee right under that leg, and we can fall into this. Start looking into here, looking to separate these legs. Once I get this underhook, push that leg away, bite the toes, and we can fall in right here. Okay, last one here. We get to our knee cut. He gets the underhook on us, and we don't want to back step. We'd rather keep control on top. I like to go with a little Khabib kind of wrist control in the back here. So I'm going to push him to his back, slide in. Let's say I'm in like my staging position here, right? Keep your knee in. I'm in my staging position here, and he's able to get his underhook on me, right? Boom. That leg through. As soon as he gets that underhook on me here, right? If I don't do anything and I don't react quickly, he's going to be up and behind my back. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to sit my hips on top of his top leg here to kind of make it a little bit tougher for him to build up. Now he's still going to try to build up here, and I'm waiting for that elbow to be posted in the mat. So when he builds his head up, I'm going to look to go behind that elbow, trap. I'm going to pull that wrist in, lean our heads to the mat. Once we get here, he's going to let me get this out because there's a lot of pressure on him. I keep this head into the mat, and I'm going to cartwheel over and pass to the far side right here. Okay. Again.
Oh, yeah, let's do it again.
We knock him to his back. I get into my staging position here. He slides it with that underhook. Boom. Before I let him get any further, I sit on those hips right here to make it a little tougher. He builds up to the elbow. I'm clearing through. And if I get here and I can't get this form, what I do is I push the wrist in, which will let me get it. So this is too far away. I push it in. I drive the shoulder to the mat. My head goes to the mat. I slide out, and I'm just going to cartwheel right up and over, right into a good tight position here. So going to that knee cut, you have a lot of options. When we learn to do our knee cuts, usually we just teach it. This is how you step in and you slide through the guard. And you learn pretty quickly that there's a lot of obstacles that you encounter when you go there. So I think the best course is just to have a lot of options when you get there. We try option 1, easiest one that's going to be the safest. That doesn't work. Got option 2, 3, 4, and 5, up until ones that are kind of sneaky that people won't expect. So try them out. Let me see. Let me know how you guys like them.
Let me see. Know how you like them.
Let me see. No.